Yo, what's up, gang? It's your boys. Well, two of the boys. Let's see, what episode is this? 58?
Oh, I need to check. Yeah, I think we're at 58.
58, dude. Almost at the big 60. We're eligible for AARP.
We are, like maybe 5 years away from retirement or something like that.
That's right. They're starting to send us the pamphlets in the mail.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. They know we're approaching. We showed up on their list, and now they're slowly giving it out.
Alice Trebek is trying to sell us life insurance.
Right. Wilford Brimley got us the diabetes medication. Like now we're very addicted to old reruns of Murder, She Wrote.
I have type A and type B diabetes.
I have both types of diabetes.
Diabetes.
The big bushy mustache, like my mustache, man. I need to find out what he used to like display it out. Oh, it's so good,
man.
But yeah, episode 58-ish, around there of Brother Around. I'm your host, Wes Gardner, Kami the Hobo himself, and we got the man, the myth, the legend, the OG.
Yeah.
Marco Flores, Nerd in the Bay.
Yeah. Kambawa, Tennis House. No. I need to start watching again because I was about to start Aloha State. But anyway, so like I was telling the guys after I heard the last podcast, I was like, you guys talk about mobile games without me. What the heck? But so yeah, I listened to the last episode and I was like, oh, dude, like, because I'm watching a bunch of Netflix stuff because I installed it on my work phone because I do what I want. I'm the boss, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm watching. So I had two things that happened recently. So I'm watching the show that I found because over the internet and all the podcasts that I listen to, and it's called Real Love and it's on Netflix. Okay.
Real Love. Okay.
Real Love. Okay. It's a Japanese reality dating show, kind of like it's like Survivor meets like Temptation Island sort of thing, right?
Okay, sure.
So they're on an island. They're in Okinawa basically, and it's 10 guys and 8 girls. They didn't fully even it out, but some people that were trying to apply for the show didn't make it because. Here's the thing. So they're all looking for love, Yeah. But the crutch is that, okay, they are going on dates throughout these days or throughout these weeks, throughout these days, basically. They're going on dates. And the two hosts of the shows are, they're watching them through the cameras. And they're like, oh, they're basically doing the Terrace House hosting of like, oh, they watch what they do and then they commentate on it. So. They do that. They crack jokes and whatever. They make nicknames for each of the people. And then this bell goes off, right? It goes, ding, ding, right? And so what the crutch of this show is that every single person on that show has a dark secret. They say dark secret. Okay? Okay? So... everybody has something that they're like ashamed of or whatever. So when that bell rings, the hosts have cards like, okay, so somebody has to like announce what their secret is, and it goes off in two scenarios. One, the first scenario is they're all of the contestants are all together.
Okay,
and they're socializing and all that. The bell rings, and then they pick whoever they pick to announce to everybody that what's their dark secret.
Yeah.
The other scenario is basically they're on a date. It's like boy and girl, they're either hitting it off or they're not, and then the bell rings and if they pick that person, they have to admit the dark secret to the person they're dating, and at the same time, after the secret is announced, they get like reaction perspectives on each of the other contestants that are not on the date. What is per se like? They announced that. Oh, what the heck? And then they do like a reaction video right then and there. So yeah, so it's a little interesting that they have this sort of type of show. I'm loving it because I'm hearing the most ridiculous secrets. I almost want to say like with some of them, but it's like I don't want you like Wes. I need you to watch. It's kind of like I tried to recommend Terrace House. Right?
Terrace House, and then we got on. It's like, oh yeah, dude, for sure.
Episode about it. So yeah, so that like I'll give away one. So,
Okay.
the bell rung, and this couple was on a date, and they chose that person to speak the secret. They gave him the envelope,
Yeah.
and like, oh man, I don't want to announce my secret, but okay, so they open this letter and they go word for word what their secret is. Like, so I find out that one of these guys is a damn criminal.
Right. That's what I was gonna ask. Like, how when we talk about like dark secrets, is it?
Yeah, like literally dark secrets. Like either I'm again, I can't say anything about it. But like one of them was a criminal, and like the reaction on the girl was like, I guess it's okay, but I'm not really interested in you in the first place. But I guess I can see you repented in your ways. Is like it becomes this whole like different layers of like, do they accept them after the dark secret is announced?
Right.
So okay, that's real love. I highly recommend you watch it.
It's hilarious.
Wes, if you ever have time, please, you and Brittany should watch that. And
Absolutely.
just bust your ass off and like,
Absolutely.
real love on Netflix, Japanese show reality. So the other thing that has happened to me in my life, because I have weird things happen to me, like remember the next door neighbor, the SWAT thing?
Yeah, the SWAT teams and the cop with the headbuds and yeah.
Yeah, he shot himself because he didn't want to leave the house. So
Crazy.
I was getting gas. Like a couple days ago. I was about to leave, and this car pulls up to like on the opposite end of the pump station.
Yeah.
And immediately opens his windows, and the first thing he says is, "My friend." I'm like, oh, here we go.
Oh, shit.
Like he's about to sell me something or whatever. He's asking for something. So he says, my friend, please, can you please help me? I'm on vacation, and I'm trying to drive to Florida. Notice that I live in California, which is on the opposite end of the United States, and he's driving a car saying, I'm trying to get to Florida.
Yeah.
He tells me that, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, aren't you? Oh, no, actually, I actually told him, aren't you aware that you are in California and that is on the opposite side of the United States? Like,
You're quite a ways off. Yeah.
My friend, yes, I understand. But he's like, my friend, I don't have any money for gas. I don't have any money for food or a hotel. And then like, I have my family here. He rolls down the window, sees a wife and a baby. I'm like, oh my gosh, if this is a con, this is a pretty good one, because he's showing me the family and the luggage. And he's like, I'm from Dubai. I'm really rich. And then he says, I'm really rich. But he's like, why are you asking me for money if you're really rich? Anyways,
yeah.
So he says that. And like, my friend, I just need money to just, wherever, just to drive or have food or whatever. I'm like, and I kind of try to break his story. Like, so you're trying to go from Florida to California.
Right.
Aware that you won't be able to last whatever type of money. If I'm able to give you money, you won't be able to last to get to Florida. And he's like, oh, anything, please, you can help. Please help me. So I was like, okay, hang on. So I go inside the store. I asked the store, the clerk, has there been like any sort of reports about, like some weird family asking for like money to be able to, go from, here and there.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I never heard anything. I was like, ah. So I paused for a brief moment, and I was like, okay, put $30 on their pump, and so they can get gas. And she gives out a big smile, but like then again, I'm thinking about the story. It's like, dude, $30 is like literally nothing for that type of road trip.
Right. Right.
So yeah, just give $30 for that pump, and I used my credit card. I didn't use my debit card, or I didn't pay the card at the pump station, because I don't know if you have something like this in Texas, where we're having reports of people able to hack into the pump station.
So what they do in Texas is they put a fake one on top of it.
Yeah.
Like they'll like put a thing and it fits perfectly over it. So like you'll scan your card and it'll say transaction, you'll enter your PIN and all that stuff, but then like nothing happens because the actual deal is a fake. Like they plaster it on the front like a freaking Ocean's 11 movie.
Yeah. So we have something like that going around. Like, oh, okay, well I didn't want to pay there,
right?
And then all of a sudden they do the thing and like I'm out of money or whatever, and I'm hacking my credit card. So
Yeah.
I paid inside. I used my credit card because, like, I could just pay it back. Once the bill comes in or whatever. It's $30,
Yeah.
whatever. I tell the guy, it's asking, talking to me. It's like, hey, I can only give you $30. That's pretty much all I can give you. And he says, thank you. He reaches out for my hand. I thought he was going to shake me. I shake my hand. He kisses my hand. Like, how are you doing? And he's trying to give me his jewelry too at the same time. But my friend here, I can't pay you, but here's all my jewelry. I was like, dude, I don't want none of that.
Yeah, how low that's just been.
I really don't want none of that. I don't want. I thought I was gonna. When he was, when I was shaking his hand, I was worried I was gonna get poked or something. I was like,
yeah, for sure.
Gonorrhea or whatever. That sort of thing.
The clap just
like I'm risking it all just.
Right.
Maybe helping this con or actually helping this guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he's like, and then he keeps asking, like, do you have any money for a hotel? I was like, dude, I literally cannot help you any more than what I got. Like, I wish you luck on $30 to get to Florida. Like, I don't know. Good luck on the rest of that. And I was like, what just happened here?
That's outrageous. Oh man.
Like, and I told this story to other people. I was like, I think there was just they were thinking like I wouldn't just help him at all. And I was like, what? Sure, I had that. I initially had that defense mechanism, but like at the other side of it, I was like, what if they actually need help? And he just made a lot of bad decisions thinking he can get to Florida from California.
Right.
He's to Dubai and he's rich and he's taking a vacation. Like, you just made a lot of bad decisions. But anyways.
Yeah. Like they headed west instead of east. Like they came from like Alabama and they're like, I think we're close to Florida, and then they just like they have the map upside down. There, this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened.
That is outrageous. Oh man.
Like, how do you decipher that thing? But anyway.
And it just happens too. Like we would have all the people like around here that would just walk up and they're like, oh, I haven't families in the car over here. Like they would have that type of stuff. But then I was like, hey, I'll buy them food. Like I'll buy you food and hand you food. Exactly. Like that was the number one tip. The only like crazy story like that, but God, this was like 10 years ago, maybe even more. Me and my dad were in kind of the bad part of Oklahoma City, like the south of the capital, like kind of not a great place. At the time, at least, I think it's really cleaned up now. But we were there in Oklahoma City, and my dad has like his Ford F-150 truck and all this other stuff, and I think that's whenever we were like scouting around for colleges or something. We were doing something, and we were filling up with gas, and this guy pulls up and like the quintessential stereotypical lowrider, like it like two of the hubcaps are missing, the paint. Whenever cars paint, like it has that weird matte thing to where like it's like they haven't washed their car in forever. But then whenever they washed it, the paint stripped off. Like where you know what I'm talking about, where it's like I can't think of what it's called, but like where it kind of decayed the paint a little bit, and it's like
where you're chipping away at armor at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like it has a kinks in the armor, and like, but that's what it is. And then the upholstery on the top where it's like cloth is all ripped and like
hanging down.
Dude, oh totally. And you can see it. It looks like one of those memory foam mattresses on the inside of it. So he goes up and my dad, like I'm a second degree black belt. My dad's a fourth degree black belt. Like, so he kind of went to the wrong truck, right? Like he's approaching the wrong people. And he was like, hey, that's a cool truck. Why don't you give it to me? And he like put his hand in his pants like he had a gun. And maybe, but he never fully pulled it out. So I think it was like an airsoft gun. I think it was, you know what I mean? I think it was a deal to try to hype people up or whatever. And then my dad was like, why don't you get a fucking job and buy your own? And the dude just like peeled out away. He just cut it right down the middle, made me laugh. Well, you get a fucking job and buy your own.
That sounds like a Ha-Ha Davis disc, like voice on the outside.
Oh, big fella. Yeah. He's like, who made you like this? Oh, dude.
Oh,
And you
dude,
can never tell. You can never tell with panhandlers though. Like it just,
yeah.
it is what it is. Oh, it still cracks me up to this day. I get a fucking job. Like and his car like dovetailed out. Like,
Yeah, the car made a meme out of it. Like,
it's that meme where it's like the exit sign, or it says like the right decision, and then the car is like taking the hard exit that says the wrong decision.
curious, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my god! But so it's good stuff for this episode. I had one main thing. Well, it's gonna kind of branch off into like two or three.
Sure. Let's do it.
But like I told you beforehand, you're really gonna like this. I told you on stream because you were hanging out my stream yesterday.
Right.
That you're gonna like the thing that I got this Saturday. Coming tomorrow's Friday. My days are all mixed up. Well, it's crazy. But coming in Saturday, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you fine people what it is because it's going to be a West versus Backlog episode. Is the Street Fighter 30th anniversary?
Nice.
Yeah, dude. So I got it. I got it for Xbox One. I have a ton of PS4 games. My Xbox One doesn't have a lot of love, so I was like, let me get that on Xbox One. Like Amazon has a really sick deal for new games if you're an Amazon Prime member. If it's like pre-release or like the first 2 weeks of release, you get 20% off brand new games.
Oh, nice.
With free shipping.
Yeah.
So like, instead of paying 40, I got it for a little less than 30, I think. So like, pretty good.
Yeah,
comes with 12 games. And something that I was thinking about because I was like, okay, I have Street Fighter 2. Video Games Monthly sent me the Street Fighter 2 cart for Super Nintendo. Yeah. We have like Ultimate Street Fighter 4 on PC, stuff like that. But we love freaking like Third Strike. We love. I mean, just that's the jam, right? So, but I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? The ones I'm the most excited to play are probably the alpha games. And as I was looking at the alpha games, because I played Alpha 2, I never played Alpha 1, but I played Alpha 2, really liked it. Played Alpha 3, loved it. So kind of dig back into those. But something caught my eye. Whenever I was looking, kind of, because I was looking at, whenever you buy a game and then you're excited and it's like shipping. Yeah. So you're like, I'm going to watch all these YouTube videos about what people are saying about the thing that I bought. Like, I do that all the time. So I'm going and I saw Maximilian's videos on it. Now I'm like, Maximilian's almost like a daily thing for me now. Like, I don't even know half the stuff he's talking about, but now, because you were like, oh, Maximilian's like one of your biggest guys, like one of the reasons why you wanted to get into YouTube. And I was like, I've heard of Maximilian, let me give him a shot. And yeah, that dude's legit, man. And so I was like watching him play stuff and talk about netcode and all that. And I probably won't do a lot of online fighting. But the thing that really got me, and I kind of like fell hard into it, was the way Alpha 2 and Alpha 3, how the games look. So like that pixel style, the main menu style where the characters select and has the grids and the really shiny, like, you know what I mean? Like there's a very distinct vibe. And it totally, like 100%, I was back in the arcade. Like, I looked at it, you know what I mean? Because there's a certain thing about how the alpha games on like Third Strike or Double Impact for Street Fighter 3, those games look like arcade games. I mean, they are arcade games. But you look at them and you're like, even at home, that's an arcade game. Like, you could build a freaking box and like put the joysticks and get your Hori sticks and buttons, and you now have an arcade cabinet that, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, mid to late 90s Capcom was on fire. Like, you look at all the stuff, dude. Because I'm telling you, dude, I would put them up, the mid to late 90s Capcom, I would put them up against anyone on Earth. I would put them up against Nintendo. I'd put them up against freaking Valve or Blizzard, anybody. Because you're talking, not only were you getting stuff like Street Fighter Alpha, the Alpha series, Third Strike, Street Fighter 3, you were getting Resident Evil 2. You were getting Breath of Fire 3 and 4.
Onimusha.
Unreal games. Like, just crazy. They were on, and even their pixel art, because you look at Third Strike, and that game is still, like, that's a perfect pixel game. Like, you're looking at it like, there's no one that's ever made a better looking pixel game than this. Like, it just doesn't exist. Every frame is hand drawn, and it's super fluid, and it's like, they don't make them like that. I mean, they really don't. And that's the old guy thing to say. But it's like,
it's so much work to do that. That's why they went like 2.5D ish.
Yeah, exactly. But it was unbelievable, and that's why I pulled the trigger and like bought the game, because I was like, oh, dude, because we got a Dreamcast now. I could download it. You can burn Dreamcast games. It's super easy to do. And we already have like Third Strike, and we already have all that stuff. But I was like, let me get a full actual high def, currently playable through HDMI. Let me have a copy of Third Strike in the Alpha series. Bam, like something just to go to. But I was like, what other games? And this is what I was going to bring up. One, we're going to talk about Street Fighter a lot. But two, what was the game that you think? Like, for me, at first it was Street Fighter 2. Like, whenever you were playing it on Genesis or Super Nintendo or whatever, that felt like this arcade game is now in my house. Like, this is just like the arcade. You know what I mean? Where it had that same energy and that same, like, and it could be any genre, not even just fighting games, but like any genre. So like Dynamite Cop, or like Time Crisis, or Die Hard Trilogy, or like any of that shit.
Oh, that's a very good question. That I thought I basically had the arcade version of the game in my house.
Yes, yeah.
It's making me think of Street Fighter 2 Turbo, for one, is one of them. When it transitions to Super Street Fighter 2, it made me feel like, we definitely have like either that or a near perfect arcade port. Let me see. For whatever reason, Forgotten Worlds is running in my head right now.
Ooh, yeah.
Forgotten Worlds. Strider for the Genesis was very much as close as it can get on the Genesis, because Nintendo had a different version, and it wasn't the arcade version. So I was looking for that arcade like version of Strider. Genesis had that, and I can't deny that part. Let me see. That's a really good question though. Tekken 3.
Oh, definitely. Yes, dude. Holy shit, Tekken 3. That genuinely did feel like I preferred the home port of it. Like, I loved it in arcades, but like being able to play it whenever, and what was it, like the beach
Tekken
ball? Tekken ball, yeah. Had all that stuff, dude.
Man. All the extra stuff they had.
And stuff that the little subtle touches that I really like is whenever a home port would still say something like insert coin.
Yeah.
Instead of like press start, it would just say insert coin or something, and then you're like, oh, this is great. And that's one of the things that I've noticed about a lot of people are giving that 30th anniversary edition kind of a bad rap. And, maybe rightfully so on the online side, because I haven't played the online. I don't really even plan to play online. Maybe for like an episode of a show or something, we can see how bad we are compared to the really good people. But I have no interest in it. I just want like the archival quality. But the main complaint that I saw is kind of the reason I bought it. Because the main complaints are like, this is just the arcade board. This is just the pure 100% arcade accurate. And I was like,
nothing extra.
Like that's kind of what I want, dude. Like, I want the arcade games in my house. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I guess like Street Fighter Alpha 2 or 3, the home versions had, of course, different modes and stuff.
Alpha 3 home version had more stuff than the arcade version. Yeah. More characters and like different, like the World Tour mode was in the home version. It wasn't in the arcade version.
Gotcha.
Of Alpha 2, maybe a little bit different stuff, but I'm not remembering really. But yeah, Alpha 3, I definitely do know.
Yeah.
the home version was, I feel like, personally much better than the arcade version.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that seems to be because I do remember playing that because I remember had the way the box looks like on the PS1. It has
Yeah,
Zangief on the
thank
lower
you.
right corner, like he's looking all crazy. Like I remember it, dude. But it's funny how distinctly I remember even the box art of all three of them. Like I can look at it, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Akuma is standing on the upper right, like looking down, like gnarling, and then
toe to
uh,
toe. Yeah,
and then Ryu is like looking up at him, and I was like, yeah, that's Alpha 2. And then Alpha 1 is kind of the big. I think it's a shot of like
oh,
Ryu
because
doing.
it was the long box, right?
Yeah, the big long box, and like he's doing it shows his back, and he's like turned
Yeah,
away,
so
and then it has
they,
Kin jumping off of some shit. Like,
they did a jump sidekick, and then like the other characters are in the background for whatever
yeah, it's like the
reason.
gaggle of geese are just all collected together. Um, but it's so funny how like distinct. But then I was like, oh, I probably think that same way about like the Street Fighter 3 games. I didn't remember a lick of what those looked like because then I thought I was like, oh well, Street Fighter 3 only really came out on Dreamcast, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you
Until
had
like the collections came out for like the PS2 and all
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, uh, like Street
But yeah,
Fighter
Street Fighter
Anniversary Collection.
Dreamcast. It was all Dreamcast.
Yeah, dude. But that's probably why, because the thing I love about the Dreamcast is it is a Naomi board. Like the actual hardware in a Dreamcast is an arcade board. It's an arcade cabinet, like in your little Dreamcast. So like it would have perfect versions of like Daytona or whatever was coming out at the time.
Yeah.
If they ported it to the Dreamcast, it was dead on. Which made stuff like Mark of the Wolves so freaking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just some deep cuts. But
CBS
yeah,
two.
oh yes.
Yeah.
Golly, I guess that's yeah. The whole Dreamcast, I think, is the one system that felt like having an arcade in your
Yeah.
house
Basically.
because it was all Sega stuff. Like Sega owned the arcades at that time,
Yeah.
and then Dreamcast is their platform. So they're like, oh, you want Virtual Cop? There you go. You
There
want,
you go.
you know, they're just like passing it over. They're like, and like even games that didn't come out on the arcade here in America, like Power Stone,
Yeah.
still felt like an arcade game. Like you're playing it the way the buttons and everything's bright and flashy and wanting to grab your attention and yeah, it's just it's wild. That is an era that will never happen again, and that's why
Exactly.
before we started recording, I was like, this is an episode that we would have had like 6 years ago to talk about the old school stuff, like no quarter, like yeah, put that stuff down, and and all the arcade memories.
So funny enough, at least nowadays, Dave and Buster's has arcade exclusives, like actual arcade games. Not even so much of they have the oversized mobile phone game in their Dave and Buster's
Yeah,
arcade section, but they actually have like unique arcade games. Like if you go to a Dave and Buster's now, at least as far as I know, they have a version. They have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up multiplayer game that is not out anywhere on any system. It is only on Dave and Buster's.
whoa,
Tomb Raider has I think it's like a light gun shooter.
yeah,
That is only in Dave and Buster's. Is not anywhere else arcade wise
that's
or
crazy.
system wise. So yeah, whoever's making those games has like this unique exclusivity contract with Dave and Buster's, and they can make these as far as I know, like pretty legit arcade games, like reminiscent of old school arcade games, or like at least what 2018 arcades would look like
Would
in
be,
Dave and
yeah.
Buster's. Yeah, yeah,
Dude, that's sick. Now I got to go to a Dave and Buster's.
yeah. Like I
Gotta,
mean, now I'm curious. Like I only been
yeah,
there like a few times, but like yeah, now I'm curious about like what type of unique games that is there.
yeah. That's interesting because like the arcade is in kids nowadays you could probably go into maybe some places, maybe some malls still have little arcades and
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah.
But there was nothing like going into an arcade after not being in there for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then you see like 7 or 8 new machines. You're like, what is this? And then so you walk up to it and you're like, you're watching the demo reel, because every arcade game has a demo reel that plays itself, and you're like, oh shit. And you would be like blown away. I remember, oh god, which game was it that seeing it in arcade, I was like, oh, now I just gotta go buy it. It may have been Tekken Tag Tournament.
Okay, yeah.
Because it had the full 4-person dock, like the old Ninja Turtles games or Simpsons, that old Konami style arcade thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was at like a putt-putt golf course. And you walk in and, you buy your little putt-putt stuff, but then you look over and they had this huge arcade. They had another one that I wish, it sounds rude, but I wish it got ported to a different system than it was a San Francisco Rush.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Because those games are so much fun. But then it came out on the Nintendo 64, and you're like, ooh, this looks kind of blurry. It looks a little fuzzy.
Yeah, chunky and all that stuff.
Yeah, a little Nintendo 64-y. Yeah. Blurred textures, even though the texture's one color, and you're like, how did that happen? Oof.
That's like Blizzard porting like Warcraft and StarCraft to the consoles. Like, what am I looking at? It's not even...
Yeah,
like, there's no story. It was just like,
hey, you can play StarCraft on your Nintendo 64. Why in God's name would I ever want to do that?
Your original PlayStation. Like,
oh yeah,
the one am I looking at?
Yeah. I can't even tell what units are. You're like, I think that's green. I think.
Where's the commentary on the units? So if I press it multiple times,
where he's like zog zog. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, like, but yeah, dude, and it's bad because you know how I am, and we'll be real talk fair about it. Whenever I get on a certain thing, I like dive head for. I'm like, like I just go for it. So I was like, oh man, fighting games are pretty cool, and like because that's a genre of games that I love that I've never dedicated enough time to. Because there's so many of them, and like we've played the classics and we know the classics, and there's kind of a deep-seated love for it. But I guess now, in my mind, fighting games in the arcade, they naturally go together hand in hand. But now in my mind, that's where it goes back to. Like, so the more a fighting game looks like an arcade game, I'm in. I'm like, yeah. Like I just got, and this will probably be the thing I stream tomorrow morning. I bought, what Guilty Gear was it? I already had yeah, dude. So I already had Guilty Gear like Recore or whatever it was called, Accent Recore, which is like the traditional 2D one. But I think today I bought Guilty Gear X-Erd or whatever that's called, like that, but the Revelator.
Yeah.
Because of Maximilian. Like, I was like, I wonder what good one is. And Maximilian did this 11-minute video where he was like, guys, this game is ridiculous. And, like, I was like, okay, great. And I bought it. I was like, yep. If he says it's rad, and it came out 2 years ago. But it was the first games that Arc System Works did to where it did that. Kind of what Dragon Ball Fighter Z or whatever it does now. To where it looks like 2D. But then the camera, like does the zoom in and out and stuff. So that's the first game, or I guess the second game, that uses that engine. But it adds, like, because I think the first one that did was the Guilty Gear X-Erd. I think it was called Sign. Those games have the dumbest ass names. Like, it's just not, you see a thing and you're like, I think those are words, but, whatever.
BlazBlue.
Yeah. Oh, that's another dude, and that's another. I took that picture of Twitter. Like
everybody's saying BlazBlue. Like it's actually BlazBlue.
BlazBlue. It's like it's not Naruto. It's Naruto. We become those people. So it's like, but dude, BlazBlue. Oh god, what is the one that I bought on Xbox One like 3 weeks ago? BlazBlue Chromo Phantasm Extend. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
So time?
Yeah, it's like Oh, it's so stupid. Like
Uh,
it's just stupid enough to be amazing. Like it's turned that corner to be badass. It's like I don't know what that fucking word means, man, but it means something. And they're
yeah,
serious about it. They're fighting about it. I don't even
and then
know.
they'll say the entire title in like a cutscene story.
Or even better when you hit the start button.
Yeah,
It's like Blaz Blue. They have the announcer voice. Crossbow Phantasm Extend.
this is your guilty gear. Excellent.
Yeah. Right. Oh, and what do they call the rounds? They call them rebels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rebel one. Fight. And he's like, let's rock. Or
Yeah,
like
that's right.
they have all the dumbest shit, but I'm like way into it. Oh, it's so only really. I mean, Japanese role playing games can be kind of crazy about it. Like we always
Yeah.
make fun of Final Fantasy 13 for being fucking dumb, but like fighting games are on a whole other spectrum.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of like because it seems like there's a bigger, especially with like Evo, and we touch on Evo every now and then, but it seems like with the success of Evo, with
Mm.
things like Twitch being more esports centric, fighting games are now like that's your purest form of competition as far
Mm.
as like video games. I mean, you can talk about Counter Strike, you can talk about StarCraft, you can talk about this other
Yeah.
stuff, but like if there's a life bar, you have two life bars, and the whole
Mm.
idea is one of the life bars goes to zero before the other one does.
Yeah.
That's your gimmick. Like that's your story. It doesn't matter what game you're watching. Like they all have the health bar. That's your in. Because you can see that. Like
Mm.
even if you don't know what the hell's going on or what counters or dodges or parries or like whatever's going, you can see, oh, that dude's about to die. His health bar is about like that. And then he does some
Mm.
crazy shit and wins the match. You're like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like, you don't
Yeah.
even have to know the real mechanics of it. Of course, it's cooler if you do. It's like that Daigo parry, the
Oh yeah, yeah. Third
most,
strike
yeah,
against
famous.
Justin Wong.
Oh, which is crazy. Now, now that we're gonna have a really good version of Third Strike to be able to play, I'll be happy if I get one parry off. Just one, just a single parry the entirety I play that game.
Mhm.
The fact that he did so many all at once is still
Yeah, yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, and then you think of the meta thing to where he knew he could do that. He knew he could parry every single thing. So he prepped Justin Wong to do the move to him.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
could parry, and you're like, oh Jesus, man! These guys are like playing four-dimensional chess. They're like,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
like it's wild. It's so crazy. But yeah, with like Evo and the Twitch stuff picking up, it seems like fighting games are. You hate to say they're finally coming into their own, but because they've been in their own since like freaking Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
But now it seems like the true spirit of competition, the there's more into it now. Like there's a place, there's a home for all these different types of fighting games. So
So okay, I feel like fighting games, when it comes to the whole esports thing,
Mhm.
I feel like at least I'm aware of how fighting games is. Fighting games, as far as I know, can do the esports like professionalism. You know, everybody has team shirts and good competition and all that stuff.
yeah,
And on the other side of that is the grassroots, organic hood, thuggery
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
where, like this past weekend, somebody won. I believe it's Sonic Fox. He won Dragon Ball Fighters wearing an entire furry costume, right?
Yeah.
And
Nice.
won against a Japanese player, right?
Yeah.
A Japanese a Japanese best Guilty Gear, those type of players.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a furry costume, helmet, limited vision and all that stuff. It's on Twitch or like YouTube and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then again, the same tournament, they were playing Super Turbo. Somebody brought their dog with them.
Oh, I think I saw that little tiny like Pomeranian,
tiny
right?
dog. And then I was like, it's like, is that coaching? Because that's illegal. Because that's the whole thing about having like advice on the side.
Right.
Because when people talk like to the people like this, and then they're
Yeah.
down there, that's
Oh,
called
yeah.
coaching. and in this, like the finals, that's not allowed.
Gotcha.
For like advice. So like when they show the dog, it's like, is that coaching? That like that's illegal. But at the same time, it's like, oh, man, that could be thuggery because the dog is trying to intimidate him, and he probably lost the round because the dog was intimidating.
Yeah.
So little mind game things, but like
That's hilarious.
we're setting up this lore of like the nonsense, but we're making it like we're keeping it kayfabe basically.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because anytime I think about fighting game community and like the kayfabe stuff, I just think about Pringles. Because that's really when that whole it's Marvel baby like that whole video, that one like 6-minute video, that was the foundation of like all of it, in my opinion. Like everything that calls back to that, and it's like young internet memes is what that was.
Happy birthday! Like what is this happy birthday?
Happy birthday!
It's when your teammates get caught in the attack and he's comboing on both of them. That's what a happy birthday is. And yeah.
It's so good. It's its own language. But I think that's rad. I think that there's a space for it, and I'm glad to see it like thrive. What does make me laugh though, well, I say it makes me laugh, it's kind of sad. The Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite stuff, like not on Evo, not on anything.
Ball on that game. Oh gosh, it's cool. One thing, it's cool that anything but Street Fighter is like the top of the list, top of the card for Evo. Because like Dragon Ball Fighters, if anything is going to be topping Street Fighter or any type of Capcom game, it would be a very good, fast fighting game. Like Dragon Ball is known for that in the anime and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So and good on the people that made Guilty Gear to be able to make that type of game. And they have like 3 games on their list of games that are, in Evo right now.
Yeah.
So like Capcom needs to. I know Capcom does. I feel like Capcom needs to kind of readjust or just take a look at what's going on and what's going right with Street Fighter V, what's going wrong with it. I mean, let's either or that or Street Fighter V is doing their thing and let it just be their thing, and then maybe just refocus on Marvel vs. Capcom, because that was like a drop ball right there.
Yeah.
With all the decisions and characters being reused when they wanted other people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think I think the I would love to see kind of the same way there's that Street Fighter 30th anniversary. I would love, and I know the licensing would probably be a killer on it to get all the licenses and stuff. But I would love to see a Versus collection. So you have like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
But then you have like Capcom versus SNK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get Capcom to get all those out there and like bring it in. Oh, dude, that would.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be money. I mean, that would be. Because those are really kind of the Capcom versus SNK games. I'm starting to want to dig into more of those, but you can't play it on any current system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely do need. If you get a CVS, Capcom versus SNK, or like a CVS 2, yes, by all means. Like in California, people still play it. In California, I mean, sure you can. People still play it like everywhere else, but like tournament level wise, it is still like a game that is on like final stage, like one of the finals in like California tournaments, like because we love Capcom versus SNK.
Dude, that's crazy. Oh,
yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh yeah, you can find that definitely.
Because like getting a compilation of something like that on the current stuff, current hardware, like just get it. But what was funny is whenever I got, because seeing all the mixed reviews for the Street Fighter thing, the 30th anniversary, I was like, well, is it a good deal? And like I said, I got it for a little under 30, so I was like, yeah, that's a hell of a deal. But then, seeing the reviews and hearing different, the net code isn't as great, or why didn't they put training mode on all the games? Or, you hear the quips and they're fine, like everyone's entitled to their opinion and stuff like that, but I think they were expecting something that the game wasn't to begin with. Like
Yeah.
they were wanting it to be full feature. I want all this to have all the
Right.
home perfect ports of every character of this, and it's like, yeah, that's nice to want, but like I just want a collection of the arcade games. That's
Yeah,
all. That's
exactly.
all I'm expecting. Even the museum stuff is different stuff, like, that's cool, and like as a making of all these major Street Fighter games, and it has like video documentary type stuff and flip books you can go through, and I was like, that shit's awesome.
Yeah.
But so I started doing some price checking. And I was like, okay, I spent, 29 and some change, and then with tax it was like 31. So yeah, let's see. A full in-box copy of Street Fighter Alpha 2 is $45. That is one of the 12 games.
Yeah, that's one of them.
So I'm like, oh, I just saw the one price. I was like, yep, great deal. Like
Worth it.
totally worth it. Yeah, no doubt. And God, you look at a box copy of Double Impact. Oh, 90 some odd bucks for that game on Dreamcast.
And
Like,
yeah.
The prices are crazy. Even like the Anniversary Collection on PS2, that game's still going for 20-ish, but like 27, 28, which is respect. I mean, that's a fair price for that because it's a good collection.
Yeah.
But like even that, it's like, well, that's exactly the same price I just paid on the 30th anniversary. So
Yeah.
so that's kind of how I approached the is this worth the money type question. It was like, well, if one game costs the same as all 12 of these, like, of course, and I could play these through HDMI and freaking capture card and like,
Yeah.
of course,
So.
like,
I think it's worth it.
no question, man.
Yeah. Man.
But yeah, so I was excited to record this one because I was like, oh, Marco's going to be a big fan of what we talk about this week. But it's like that arcade late 90s, early 2000s. Like, there's not a lot of things that give you that vibe anymore. Because
that could reinvent that, or you just recreate it.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the pixel art. I don't know if it's the colors. The fact that everything was really flashy and the menus were like pulsing and like everything, tried to grab your attention.
Yeah,
But
it was that and the environment. People like all gathered in one arcade stand, putting in quarters, saying you're next, and like I'm taking your money because I'm the best at this arcade or something. Or totally. Yeah, man.
So good. And yeah, that is, it's so crazy for the people that haven't got to experience that era. You can't compare it with anything. Like, it doesn't. It's probably the same. I imagine this to be the same as like the first generation that did Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I'm saying? Where they're like, oh shit, this is the hotness. And then people are like, well, here's a second edition. And they're like, yeah, that's cool, but this stuff was the real deal. Yeah. So it's fun to be able to draw back on those memories about like, dude, the arcades when they were popping, there's nothing better.
Yeah. It was the babysitter because they would not leave.
Yes. Oh, you'd be there 6 hours. Totally.
Yeah. And then come home for dinner. And then if it's Friday, you go back out.
You go back. You mow a lawn, get your roll of quarters, and you're done.
Washing
That's
dishes.
it.
There you
That's
go.
it, man.
Yeah.
You do it. And then let's say you were able to go to Toys R Us and buy, and in my case, and I looked it up before we recorded, and whenever they, those facts that like change your mind or like change your life forever because you thought it was one thing, but it was actually something different, and you're like, wait, what? And then you like dig in more. Like a perfect example is whenever you tell somebody that like a barcode on the back of a product.
Yeah.
Whenever they scan the barcode, they're not scanning the black bars. They're scanning the white spaces in between it.
Oh. Okay.
Like that shit to where you're like, wait, what? And then you like look around and you're like, my whole life has lived a lot. Like I had that like 20 minutes before we started recording. Because I was like, what was the port of Street Fighter 2 that I played on the Sega Genesis? I was like, oh yeah, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. Type it in. Comes up Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. I was like, no, it's Championship Edition. So I type it in again, and it pulls up Champion Edition. I was like, it was called Champion Edition?
Yeah.
And then, like, I look at this box, Champion Edition. Says it perfectly right there. No Championship Edition, Champion Edition. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it was the arcade version that was called Championship Edition. Nope. Champion Edition.
We all just said Championship Edition because.
Because who calls it Champion Edition? Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, but yeah, today I had that moment. I was like, this is called what? And then I was like, no. So then I went on eBay, Sega Genesis, Street Fighter 2, and then I put Champ, and just to see what it would autofill. Champion Edition.
Champion Edition.
God dang it! Like what? Oh, it's outrageous. I can't even remember what they added to that one. Was it like you could play as M. Bison or something? Like
you can play as the four kings. Yeah, Bison, Vega, and Sagat.
That's right.
And Balrog. Yeah. Oh,
so which one?
And able to play the same character as well on a versus.
Like, yes, because wasn't it a? Let's see, original Street Fighter 2, I don't think you could mirror match, could you?
You couldn't unless, I believe it was either a code or you had to do a Game Genie to be able to do that. And then if you did a mirror match, they were the same color. But
That's
there was no different colors on the regular Street Fighter 2.
There's no alternate costumes. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going way back, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's funny. So now I'm wondering, like, let me pull up the list of the actual game titles that are in Championship Edition, the 30th anniversary collection. See, now I'm like ruined. I'm gonna call everything the freaking Championship Edition. No! Let's see. Street Fighter 30th. Okay. So I need to find which version of the game, because they put like 3 versions of Street Fighter 2. I think.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me go to Wikipedia. Yeah. Okay. So it has. Wait, why doesn't it just have a list of games? Come on. List of games. Yep. See, there's that. Okay. Might play something.
Maybe cool.
Tab. Let's see. Okay. So it has original Street Fighter, which is horrible. It's real bad. Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2. Let's see. Is that? It's like a blue one. Which one's that?
Blue one. That sounds like Champion Edition. Genesis.
Oh, so it does have Champion Edition. Okay. Collection includes online label versions. Okay, that's for those. Yeah, let me see this. Okay. So, yeah, Street Fighter 2, then Street Fighter 2 in the blue, which might, if it is Champion Edition, I'll be so excited because that's the one I grew up playing. Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, which I guess was okay, so that's Turbo. Super Street Fighter 2.
So we called it Turbo. I never called it Hyper Fighting, even though it says Hyper Fighting. I always called it Turbo for whatever reason. I guess it was just in the region I was at, Bay Area. We just called it Turbo.
Just called it Turbo.
Fighting.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm wondering because I want to say the version on Super Nintendo that Video Games Monthly gave me, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting was for SNES, while Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition was Genesis.
Yeah, because I think so. Because I don't think Super Nintendo didn't have a Champion Edition.
Yeah,
it went straight to Hyper Fighting.
Right, and then it's showing Super Street Fighter 2, the new challengers, then Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, That's the
Oh
one
yeah.
that added Fei Long and stuff, right?
No, that was Super Street Fighter 2.
Okay,
That added the new challengers. Cammy,
gotcha.
T-Hawk,
Oh,
Ilon.
T-Hawks
Yeah.
and like DJ and stuff. Okay, so
Yeah.
Turbo, was Turbo where you could select different finishers?
So
Like,
Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo was you had super moves or a super move for each
yeah,
character. Akuma was unveiled on that one,
that's
and
right.
then everybody had like a different type of move. Like Ryu had air throw, and Ken had different kicks, and just everybody had unique stuff that was added into Super Turbo.
Gotcha. Because, yeah, it's so funny how many different versions of Street Fighter 2 there are. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I think on Wikipedia they said there's like 11 or 14 or something. Like, there's an insane amount. If you
Was
count
Rainbow Edition
yeah.
added?
Which one?
Was Rainbow Edition?
Oh, snap. So, it's not on the collection, but
Okay.
like,
So Rainbow Edition was like kind of like, well, at least the version I think it was like a hacked like debug version where, or at least it made it been like the arcades that I was at. It was like you can basically do anything. Like this was before when Chun-Li actually had a fireball in hyper fighting.
right.
They did a fireball that was not of like what Chun-Li's animations, or like they did like the fierce punch of Chun-Li, but then throw like a Hadouken or like a Yoga Flame fireball.
Oh,
Or, like,
interesting.
you can do like multiple fireballs at the same time. So you can have like a wall of fireballs, or do like air ball, like Blanca balls, and you can do all this like funky like hacking like stuff in Rainbow Edition.
That's cool.
So it introduced it was like Omega mode for Street Fighter 4, where it shows the concepts of what stuff they do in
Right.
5, what they do in 5 now, but it showcased like, oh, this is like the alpha version of of what 5 will be or something in Street Fighter 4 Big Edition.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, so yeah, it has, let's see, yeah, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 1, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3 New Generation, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, and then, of course, Third Strike.
There you go. Okay.
That's a hell of a set, man.
Yeah, man.
Those are some games.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm excited. Yeah, that's the next episode of West versus Backlog. Trying to figure out because I won't have time to play all of them in the episode, I don't think. So I'm trying to probably, like, do you have any requests on ones that you want? Because I'm doing Third Strike for sure.
For sure, Third Strike.
I can't decide between Alpha 2 or 3.
I mean, Alpha 2 is popular generally, but like, I would love to see some Alpha 3 personally, because Alpha 3 is like, Alpha 3 was more like you were familiar, you were comfortable with the game, and it was showing some unique stuff in that one too. But yeah, I would personally like to see some Alpha 3 from you.
Sure.
But if you're going for the general YouTube audience or just general audience, Alpha 2, you can go with Alpha 2.
Yeah. And then, God, what version of Street Fighter 2?
Oh man, I would actually say the regular Street Fighter 2, vanilla 2.
Interesting, yeah. Because it's funny, because Hyper Fighting is on the SNES Classic.
Yeah,
That's the one they put on that. So we've played that on stream before.
Okay.
Original OG Street Fighter 2. That's a...
Just watch the clunky jankiness of like hitting Blanca out of a Blanca ball and seeing like his near entire bar get taken away because that was his weakness. He had a weakness. You hit him out of the Blanca ball and you damn near kill him in 2 hits.
That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, same thing with Sagat after a Tiger uppercut, because of the lore of him getting dragon punched. with
Right.
getting a scar. Getting a scar. It was like a big weakness thing with
That's
Sagat.
right. Because Sagat was in Street Fighter 1, correct? Like, he
Yeah,
was in the original, and then
pre scar.
that's when he got the scar, is
When he
hopping
got the
over to
scar.
2.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
some deep lore. Now we're gonna cut into that lore, dude. Um, that's right. Oh
Yeah.
man. But like, and one of my favorite things about the set for the 30th anniversary, and I haven't even got it yet, but just seen it from videos, is it tells you when the release date was, but then what arcade board it ran off of.
Oh, nice.
So like
Okay.
what actual unit did.
Mm.
Also, it shows on some of the museum stuff. It shows pictures of the actual boards, and then it
Oh,
does like
yeah, yeah,
blueprint stuff and like character sketches
Mm.
of like, here's where the UI is, and this is what we
yeah.
want this bar to look like. And I was like, oh shit, dude, this is great. Um, yeah. I know, yeah, it gets kind of a bum rap for certain things, but I think a lot of museum collections, because I think this is the same company that did the Mega Man Legacy collections,
Okay.
and those are great. I love
Yeah,
those. Like, I love
yeah,
those collections because they got the concept art, they got the soundtrack stuff you can do. You can
yeah.
play any of the games, save states, whatever you
That
want.
artwork you want to see, and
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And even stuff that's like never been released, and they like get a
exactly.
full scan, and like it's perfect quality, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's some good stuff. And I think there's even in the 30th anniversary deal, there's a way that you can see each frame of a character's special moves
That's
depending
right.
on
Like you
games.
want to see the fireball of Ryu, the Street Fighter 2 version versus the like Third Strike version. You can do that. Yeah, that's right. I
So,
forgot about that feature.
so cool.
That's pretty cool.
And apparently that's good for like actually looking at the frames and being like, okay,
Yeah,
so second frame is when like, so it's a good study mechanic.
yeah.
Yeah, man. See, I'm part of the problem with video games. I will buy any good anniversary set, any good re-release or anniversary set. Like the moment Sega tells me they're doing a Dreamcast collection, I know they kind of already did one. They did one that had like Space Channel 5 and Crazy Taxi, Sega
Mhm.
Bass Fishing, and Sonic Adventure, I think.
Yeah,
But if they did a compilation, they're like, hey, it's, 2 Blu-ray discs, and it comes
mm,
with 18 Dreamcast games.
yeah.
Yep, doing it. Like that's kind of what they're doing with the Shenmue 1 and 2 collection.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So that type of stuff, man, I'm all about it. They even did the Power Stone collection on the PSP.
Man,
Um,
power stuff,
so much fun. Oh, I'm
dude.
telling you, man, Capcom was money. Well, these people, they need to know.
Yeah,
Capcom mid to late 90s, man. There was a 7 year span where Capcom was top of the world. You
yeah.
couldn't beat them.
Could not
Uh,
touch them.
couldn't beat them on graphics, on gameplay, nothing. Like shit. I mean, hell, they're now just remaking Resident Evil 2, you
Yeah,
know, and they got
yeah.
Shinji
Exactly.
Mikami back on it. So
And musings of Devil May Cry 6, right?
I think
Or
so.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In
Yeah,
in a standard Devil May Cry 6, not a DMC 2. They're not
right,
using that
right.
one, which was, that game was fine.
Yeah,
Wasn't as good, but it was okay.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
yeah, man, like, yeah, it feels good to just talk fighting games. This is old school podcast, dude.
There you go.
This is
Yeah,
some
man.
old school brethren around. But yeah, so a little bit of an announcement, kind of a little downer, not really. Like
Yeah,
we'll talk about it for a second. Kind of be open with you fine people. So if you're supporting us, if you're checking us out on Twitch or YouTube, thank you so much for watching the YouTube archives, the video stuff. If you're listening on, iTunes, Google, wherever you're at, directly downloading it, we love you. Thank you so much. We will
yes.
announce right now we are going on a small hiatus, a small, oh, what do you want, like a sabbatical, I guess. um,
Sabbatical, like side missions, like
yeah, yeah, we're gonna go get more crazy stories for you guys and come back and tell all of them about
yeah,
panhandlers and
time skips.
that's right.
Uh, so you want to call it?
Yeah, like the virtual missions. The VR, VR missions. We're going on our own VR mission.
Where you send out like one of your party members, and they'll be back in like a certain number of times.
Yeah, at that hour time limit. Oh, that's great. But yeah, we are taking a small break. Really, it's a to be determined break. We just got so much going on. All three of us, Todd and Marco and myself, got all bunch of stuff going on over the summer. Summer is kind of whenever everybody's schedule like flips around and does crazy stuff. And yeah, it's just one of those deals that we're very happy with how Brother Around has been from episode 1 all the way until now. But it's also a great time that we can use this as kind of a rebranding, almost a see what works, see what doesn't, see what you guys like. Hey, if you guys have some feedback and input, hit us up on Twitter. Leave some show note comments over on the blog post stuff. I mean, we'd love to hear from you. YouTube, Twitch comments, like whatever. We read them. We read every single one of them. So let us know what you like. Do you like the more focused episodes, kind of how we did today? Just talk about the arcades and fighting game stuff? Or do you like it when it's all over the place and we're doing the Marvin impressions and making crazy antics? What we'd love to hear from you.
You're making me think of Power Hour. Like, do one. Do one.
Yeah. Because I mean, if Brother Around's going on hiatus, that doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get anything in return. You know what I mean? So we're dabbling with some stuff. But yeah, so Brother Around as a podcast, as a video podcast, we'll be taking a break. We will keep you all in the loop. Absolutely. 100%. And yeah, there's going to be a ton of stuff from all of us. That's kind of what we've talked about over the past like 2 or 3 weeks, is all the different projects we're talking about. Like, oh, let's try this. And, oh, that sounds cool. And like talking shop in the background. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. But the Brothering Around, and kind of, I guess, one of the main reasons why, just it's hard to get 3 very busy adults in the same place, same time. We all got the family commitment thing. We all got different time zones. Like, it's harder to schedule the more people there are. And it just is what it is. We all got careers, jobs, side projects, and like all this stuff going on. And to balance all of it, we want to make sure that every one of all 3 of our projects, and even Maury's projects, we want to make sure they're as good as they possibly can be. So to dedicate time on the ones that really like, bam, let's knock this out. Kind of how we did Power Hour. It started as a thing, we didn't know what it was, and then we started hitting a stride with it. But then it started, it's starting to feel the same, so let's take a break for a little bit. Yeah. This is kind of what the Brothering Around thing's doing. So we love the fact that you guys have listened and watched, however you've heard or seen us. We are taking a little bit of a hiatus, but we're not going anywhere. You know where to find us. Yeah. I mean, you got Marco right there. You got him over at youtube.com/nerdinthebay. Yeah. Also, twitter.com/nerdinthebay. You can get us there. And Todd, twitch.tv/ToddEVF and twitter.com/ToddEVF as well. And then you know where to find me, man. Comedy Hobo. Just type that shit in. Just type the words Comedy Hobo and something's gonna pop up. You'll see my face somewhere.
Man. You got 1,000 subscribers.
Dude, I'm at like 1,002. It's so weird. I'm like above the cusp, but just barely. Like if I have a bad day, someone's just gonna bring it back down to 999. I'm like,
you just need the watch time. That's all you need. And you'll be on that long waiting list.
Oh, the crazy waiting list. Screw that. They can keep their money. But yeah, it's like, so we're moving and shaking. We got some other stuff planned too. So but thanks so much for hanging out with us. We will be back one day. We'll see what's going on. But thanks, guys, so much. We'll catch you soon. Head over to comedyhobo.com. Brand new site. Go look at it. All the links, all the show notes, whatever you need. Go. But we'll see you. Peace, guys.